But this is the DMD podcast. We've got Lotti.
Hi, I'm Lotti. I specialise in art, illustration, and graphic design.
We've got Jazz.
Hi, I'm Jazz and I specialise in graphic design and typography.
We've got Ben.
I'm Ben and I specialise in graphic design and illustration.
We've got Dave.
I'm Dave. I specialise in animation and video.
We've got Becky.
Hi, I'm Becky. I specialise in branding and marketing.
We've got Stefania.
Hello, I'm Stefania. I specialize in graphic design.
And we got myself. So I'm Sophie and I study photography and graphic design. I got into design. So when I was doing GCSEs, I chose photography, and then moving on to A level, I wanted to try and expand my knowledge on software. So all my A levels and BTECs were creative. So I did photography, design, and web design. And then from there, I decided to do digital media design to just carry on expanding and learning the softwares and the creative process.
Yeah, did anyone else do anything creative for their GCSEs and A-levels, which kind of made them want to do this for a degree?
I also did digital media and graphic design. I also did software development just to get a see if I could see how well I do with technical area like design and stuff. And I found that I just preferred doing the sort of digital stuff. So
yeah, that's fair.
For me, I went into college sort of wanting to be a lot more sort of technical, and I went in doing sort of web design and software development, and as my third choice I had sort of digital design just as sort of as a filler to begin with, but I found that I actually started to really enjoy sort of the creative process, and it was sort of a nice surprise to me, as I don't think I would have done it otherwise, to be honest. So, and that sort of led me onto this course, and doing all sorts of fun little creative things.
Well, I've always liked making things, and then I got to the end of school and thought I'd no idea what I want to do, and I didn't really know what I could do, I suppose, apart from make things. So I just sort of went with that, and it's luckily worked out.
Yeah, that's good.
Becky, can you remember what you did in GCSE and A-level?
Wow, because it was so long ago.
Wow, that's rude.
That was hard.
I didn't mean it like that.
I did media studies, and because it was so long ago, it was quite like a new GCSE. Not a lot of years before me had done it, but I really loved it. And then did a bit of media and photography at college, and then had a really long gap, and then come back. But I sort of fell into this course by accident because they weren't running a course, and George, the course leader, said there's lots of different people, all different can do lots of different things, and not everyone will be the same skill set. Everyone was above me. He was going, don't worry, you won't struggle. But I really struggled. I'd never even opened Photoshop before the course. I think, hadn't even used a Mac. I had to ask Lotti on the first day how you maximize the screen and minimize it. I had no idea. But yeah, I'm pleased I did. But yeah, I sort of did a little bit before, and then sort of fell into this by accident.
So
anyway,
would you say you're okay with using those programs now? Can you open a Photoshop and get to work?
Yeah, but I'd never even used a Mac. So the first day Lana said, get a Gmail account, and I was like, oh, okay. How do I get another tab open? Don't know. But yeah, all good now. So I started from nothing basically.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's quite inspiring to learn so much in a span of 3 years.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I can use Photoshop. I still don't know how to use InDesign. I won't even bother with
it. We don't talk about InDesign.
Would you say Photoshop's your favourite piece of software to use?
I would say probably, because with Photoshop there's so many things I probably still don't know.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think anyone knows the entire sort of
I
workings of
mean, even
Photoshop.
professionals go on YouTube and type a little tutorial.
Yeah, totally. That's what I do all the time. Just quickly go, I wonder if Photoshop does that, and then I'll go YouTube it, and there's always something.
You always find a little thing that could have made your life so much easier if you knew about it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stefania, what did you do in A-level and GCSE?
I didn't have any background as a design course, but I'm really a creative person, and I realized that through design I could express myself in a better way.
Mm.
I really like the fact that I can improve everyday life people in so many different ways. So that's why I've decided to start this course.
Yeah. For your final project, you're redesigning a is it a cafe in Italy?
No, it was a rebranding, for
Oh
a
yeah.
bakery in Italy. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like kind of sharing your skills and creativity like all over the world and like your home country.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really sweet.
What would you say your favorite like Adobe software is, or any software, Stefania? What's your favorite to use?
I think it's Illustrator, my favorite
Yeah, I
software.
would
Yeah, and
agree.
then
Mm.
Yeah.
also Adobe Dimension. I really like. I'm just starting to learn more about Adobe Dimension because
Yeah.
it's really good for 3D models and make some
Mm.
mockups.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to learn 3D modeling.
It's very good.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I wish I did like possibly in the
Mm.
second year, like learning more about 3D modeling and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That would
Mm.
be really beneficial.
Yeah, that is like especially because that's the main form of platform of animation now, and I love animation, but there's not too much of a future for 2D as much anymore. So I think like I do need to like go on Blender at some point and try and learn modeling.
Why do you think that there isn't a lot of
I just think well, if mainly if you're working for a studio, for example, Pixar, it's all 3D now. Mainly 2D is in cartoon shows, but something I'd love to be is a storyboard artist, and I have looked into that before, and that seems like that'd be like a dream.
yeah.
You'd be good at that.
Thank
Mm.
you.
I think that's the thing though, right? With like animation, even though like I think the industry standard 100% is very much going towards like a sort of like 3D expectation with things like Pixar and DreamWorks. But of course, you've still got the sort of the internet side of things, where you still see people sort of even on YouTube or whatever creating sort of these almost flash animations, and that's still getting
Mm.
tons and tons of media
Oh
attention,
yeah,
I guess, to some
definitely.
degree, and especially on things
Yeah.
like Instagram and
Mm.
Twitter. You know, it still
Yeah, I
gets.
definitely need to. It's all about like having a social media presence, and I definitely need to work on that on my Instagram. But now with I think one of my friends he does animation and he puts it on his Instagram and TikTok, and he's gained like 10,000 followers, and he's now making a pilot for an animated show.
Wow.
Oh,
TikTok
nice.
is
Wow.
Yeah.
TikTok is crazy for gaining
Mm.
It's creative for quite a few things. Like so many people, I see so much like creative stuff on there. Like even people are sharing like their small businesses on there now,
Mm.
and they're doing well.
Yeah, there's this woman. She's got like millions of followers. She literally folds things. She folds towels like really small. She folds jumpers really small. Like it's amazing what's on TikTok. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but like it sounds silly, but even her doing that, she's probably making money from it. People are probably asking her to come over and organise stuff for her.
Yeah, they do. They say to her, "Oh, can you show us how to fold a bath towel or whatever?" And then she just does it. It's so
I feel
weird.
yeah. I feel like social media presence, especially nowadays, is essential if you want to like bring out your brand, and that's something I need to do. I've tried TikTok, but I'm not very good at holding my phone while drawing at the same time, and like, so it hasn't really worked for me. But I'd love to like maybe when I'm for my final major project when I make more products to kind of show it off. Maybe.
Yeah, get a little tripod.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or even try screen recording. Just screen record your screen and then like talk over it maybe.
Oh yeah, because yeah, I forgot that you can upload videos to TikTok directly
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
That's something I definitely should try because I do have some screen recordings of my self-initiated.
Yeah, and I think it would be better quality as well. And I think I think
Yeah.
it's quite popular for people to do that because then they like talk over and explain what they're doing. So not only are you promoting yourself, you're kind of giving knowledge as well. What are everyone's like favorite social medias to go to promote themselves?
Instagram's a big one.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what type of level of professionalism you want to give off.
If
I
you
think
want,
Yeah, Instagram is not very professional.
if you want purely design based, then things like Behance and stuff like that are the way to go to show off your portfolio.
What about LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's more of a connection based.
I think that has more of a older demographic.
Yeah, that's like if you want a job, it's not like oh, like if you want to work with me, get in touch. It is sort of like if you want a job,
Yeah.
or you've got a job that you can show off.
It's more for dealing with people as opposed to sort of being public about what you create, sort of thing. I feel like it's just it's an additional tool for that.
Yeah.
beneficial.
I feel like Facebook is like sort of not like it's not very innovative or
Oh yeah,
anything.
I've
So it's like
deactivated mine now. I don't see any.
yeah,
Well,
same.
and if you want to appeal to middle-aged people, you can go on Facebook. But I think with our type of course, it's not the
Yeah.
best media
No.
site. I think the problem what people has is they don't want to like be too out there. They may get embarrassed, or a lot of I don't know if you guys get this, but your designs you're sometimes embarrassed to post them maybe because you don't know who's going to see them, what they're going to think. So I feel like it's about getting over that fear and maybe being like, I use Instagram and I may draw things that are a bit silly, but that's
Yeah.
who I am as a designer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can
Yeah.
relate to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah, I'm very particular in what I post. Like, I'm just like, if one little thing's off, I'm like, someone's gonna notice that, and I know they won't say it, but I reckon they
Yeah.
will. You know what I mean? Like, I think it.
Yeah, like whenever I post something, I always feel like, what if an employer looked at this? What would they think?
Yeah.
And that's kind of held me back from posting maybe things that I really enjoy drawing because they're maybe not as professional, so like silly little characters and very like childish kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there's always like a demographic for that sort of style.
Yeah, I think I'm just so worried about like what future employers might see. I forget to think about my audience fan base.
What is everyone else's kind of styles that they like going towards?
See, I was about to say that I don't feel like I have a style yet. I feel like I'm still
but
struggling with
that's
trying to come
okay.
up with that.
Yeah, you don't need to have a definite style. I mean, what makes a really strong like contender for jobs is they can go for loads of different styles depending on what the client wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's sort of been drilled
Mhm.
into us at this point that, like, sure, there are still specialist sort of jobs out there, but generally speaking, a jack of
It's
all
like jack
trades
of all
is,
trades,
yeah,
yeah.
100%, 100%. This is sort
Yeah.
of generally what's expected of people now, like someone that can use a mixture of like Premiere, Photoshop, Illustrator, etc.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
interview
Yeah.
like you have to have like 10 years experience of, like Photoshop, every single Adobe program.
Yeah.
And then they add a bit of JavaScript, so I'm gonna have to learn JavaScript. No idea how that works.
Yeah.
Neither.
Ben, what would you say your style is? Could you pinpoint a word on your style?
Not really. I think because, like, for illustration, I've started with doing arts. That was quite traditional, and then moving it into digital art, it's sort of merged the two. So I've got loads of different styles that I use.
Yeah.
I think your work is recognisable though, Ben. I think like
Yeah.
if there were drawings on a table, I'll be able to pick out your one. But
I
you've got
think,
a style, but I suppose there's not like a word for it.
I feel what I recognize with Ben's style is like very clean and strong black line art, like a very inked. Like you can tell
Yeah.
his style through his line work.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, it's when you do the shading of those small dots. When it's that part.
It's the
for me.
texture, I think.
Oh yeah, that's very like tedious to do, and that's like how we can recognize you. I could not like spend that long with shading. I just do one layer. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, it takes too long to do that style, but I don't do it that much.
That's
Stefania,
alright.
what would you say like your style is, or what's your favorite kind of style to be inspired by?
I mean, I think I don't have a style, but I really like minimalism. So, but I think I don't have a style, so I don't know.
I think minimalism is a one to always go to because you can always expand on it. Like you can always become inspired by it because you look at it and you can think, oh, I could add this to it and make this into this, and that's how I kind of see minimalism.
It's a super popular style nowadays, and it's like even if you don't have too much of like an idea what your style is, minimalism is like a really strong suit. Like even on YouTube, people have started animating using After Effects and just very simple minimalistic models, and that's quite popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like going on to projects throughout the whole of the course, what do you guys think is your favorite project? Or what your favorite outcome is?
I think mine is from the Oliver bonus candles I made.
Same.
Yeah. They're the only thing I've made where I look back on it and I'm like, I actually still really like that as a design, and I'm really proud of it.
I remember those. I like those. That was quite an alright project. What about you, Becky?
My favourite, same as Jazz actually, was the YCN one, and I really liked the DNAD one. I really like working for like professional briefs.
Yeah.
I haven't sort of liked the the self-initiated ones much, because then yeah, sort of like there being parameters, even if they're quite vague.
I'd love to I'd love to see your final outcome on the get your claws into menopause thing you did, Becky.
Oh, okay, I'll send
Yeah,
them.
because I never
send
saw
them on.
that, and I really liked that concept.
Thanks.
I saw it on Instagram. I like the typography that you used.
Oh, I
Nice,
probably need to
thank
follow
you.
you on Instagram then.
Oh, no, that's fine. We'll cut that bit. But yeah, I really like. Yeah, my favourites were the DNAD and YCN. I sort of really enjoyed just the process and sort of doing the research and like the final outcome. I think like Jazz is one of the only ones that I'm actually really proud of. My YCN one.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
That's kind of difficult for me because I think that in terms of the one that I've actually enjoyed the most, at least from like developing, maybe if it's not like the best in terms of the final outcome, is the again the DNA debrief that we did recently, because mine was very much sort of on the sort of technical wireframe side of things, where I had to sort of design this like new way of people sharing how they were feeling through music through the Spotify app. And with that, it was kind of very weird trying to figure out how people could then implement various like social media things like Instagram stories into the Spotify app and then make it become a platform that people would be like willing to use. So I think that was sort of quite fun to do. And also it sort of used a mixture of like UI and I guess even like Photoshop to a very basic level of like designing what it might look like and wireframing and site mapping, how everything would sort of connect together. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
Oh, like when you see all the little pieces all form into one.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's really cool.
For that, when we did a project last year, I think it was on UI, and I couldn't get my head around it, so I redid it this year, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I'm very tempted to try and find a career in UI because
Yeah, a lot of
something
designers are
different.
looking for UI, and that's not my strong suit. But like, I'm really happy that you find that you enjoy it, because there's a lot of jobs in that market.
Yeah. What does everyone else think about UI?
I like it. I'd never like got in. I like never even heard of UX and UI before the course, but I think they're like my favourite things that we've done. Like not so much like doing the projects, but it's my favourite thing that I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see myself getting into it at some point. I just think I'd need to sort of work out how to use it and everything.
Yeah. I got put off by it because when I did my web design A level, we talked a lot about UX and UI, and I think it's because we focused so much on the UX. It kind of put me off both of them. But obviously going into design and looking at UI and stuff, and then the process of it, it's
adds like another factor to it. It's just kind of nice,
yeah, especially because I'm not a massive fan of coding and web and everything. So not now anyway. So focusing more of the creative side is nice.
Yeah, I think with designers, there's a very there's more if it makes sense, like a maths and English kind of side. Like if you're on the math side, it's more UI, UX, that kind of wireframing, and on the English, like just being very practical and like designing. I think that's really interesting.
What would everyone say like their least favorite thing to go to? Like if you had to be given a project tomorrow, what would the worst thing would it have to be?
Animation.
Yeah, I was gonna say I struggle with animation. I'd love to get used to like animating, but like I think if I was given a project, I'd really struggle with that.
I used to really have wanted to be an animator, but then I did it and I'm like, oh my god, this is way too tedious, and my movements were so stiff. I do enjoy it, but I'm never happy with the final outcome.
Stefania, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I also have started to do some short animation and I really enjoyed it. So,
yeah. What's like your least favorite project or your least favorite like technical skill that you've been given to do?
to be fair, don't have like now. I'm just thinking. Sorry. Mm, no, I don't have any like project that I didn't like it. So
Oh, that's good.
good. What about you, Ben?
Web design, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, that's a contender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never really liked it.
I mean, some graphic designers just aren't web designers.
Yeah, some people can just pick it up so quickly, and I
Mm.
tried learning WordPress, but I just couldn't get my head around it.
It's something that WordPress, I mean, is something that I've only just come back to after however many years it's been, like 3 years or something since I last even touched it because of the our end of year show. But it's surprisingly, at least for me, I found it relatively like easy to come back to. It was kind of like interesting to sort of figure out how each element worked within a page again, and it's surprisingly not all that code heavy either, depending on how you approach it. There are a lot of sort of prefixed ways of going about things that sort of are quite sort of not hand-holdy necessarily, but are like relatively supportive, and I feel like there is an element of like I don't know how else to phrase it. I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I remember it being, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocked at this. I didn't know you all hated it. I really liked all the web stuff, like either side of it. I really enjoyed learning it all. But have you all done it before and then hated it the first time?
I think in first year I did it and I could not get my head around it, and my website looked so awful.
Yeah, my designs were so promising, but I just couldn't get them onto the website the way I wanted
Yeah,
them.
I have seen graphic designers not do web design but make graphic design for web. Like when they just kind of say, "This is what it's going. This is what it's going to turn into. If you click on this, this is what it's going to look like." But then they don't do any of the actual coding stuff. I feel like I could design a website, but if I could not touch the codes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, talking about moving on to the DMD show. So yeah, Dave, you're working on the website alongside Beanie.
I am.
How's that going?
It's going pretty well so far. We had a sort of snag right sort of after the process of sort of designing the actual look and the theme that we were going for, which is just your type. And yeah, we spent a long time trying to think, okay, because we're currently living in pandemic world, how do we sort of readjust what the show was initially going to be, potentially, of course. We're recording this several months ahead of time. So we've sort of taken a weird alternative approach where we're starting to design the website from less of a sort of at the actual convention itself sort of perspective, and we're actually starting to design it from if it was a web show. So we think that that would sort of be a much sort of safer fallback option. And it could also be something that looks really good alongside the actual show if it ends up happening to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in the process of sort of designing individual pages at the moment. We're nearly done designing the home page and the social page, and it's really coming on. It's doing pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's looking good so far. What I can't remember what that thing was when you put a camera into a room and you like 3D scan it, like the gallery that George showed us.
But yeah, that's something that George has brought up, and something that we might even incorporate closer to the time if we can get like an actual 3D render of the actual space that we would have had, and then we can maybe manipulate that and manage to get some of our work presented.
Online gallery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way like to substitute in case everything goes a bit wrong. Have like an online gallery essentially, but like yeah, just to make it feel like you are there but you're not there.
Yeah.
Which is nice for everyone at the moment.
No, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, we've got options. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going well. What about marketing branding? We're currently working on like the
mock-ups for the various.
Oh yeah, we need to make some mock-ups for the posters, and at the moment I'm working on some pin designs that we possibly could hand out.
Yeah, originally it was dependent on whether we're having a physical show or not, but I think it's still good to make sure we've had everything designed and prepared for
Mm.
that, just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to be able to like have something to show at the end of it, and there's a possibility that when we contact clients, we can possibly send like a box of different things, like a pin and a lanyard and a poster and like a couple of business cards in there, to try and entice people to looking at the website if the show is online, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I think that the pins are going really well, as are the lanyards, which Ben, you're working on at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going quite well. We went for the design of your lettering, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
went
the
with that.
lettering and
I
then the
love that.
logo on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
So what was the colour scheme again that we properly went for?
We ended up going with Pantone, didn't we?
It was an
Yeah.
off-white. It
Mm.
was an off-white white, and they were like slightly off and an off
Mm.
black with a very bright yellow.
Yeah, and this was before the 2021 Pantone was even revealed, and then it got revealed. And it's like the same as our scheme.
Yeah. So we predicted the future. there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we chose the yellow because of Stefania's booklet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you have really good color choices, Stefania. Your like mock-ups are really like beautiful for the booklet.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so Stefania and I were working on the booklet a couple of weeks ago, and I think we finalised it. Would you say, Stefania?
Yeah, I really like the layout of the booklet, and yeah, I'm quite happy
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I would say so. It's very minimalist, but it incorporates everything. So you've got DMD on there, gesture type on there. It incorporates like a fade in of Ben's lettering, so it's cohesive throughout.
Yeah.
So and it's very clean inside. So it's good. I think it'll work very well for everyone's work, because I think
Mm.
if we went for something very in your face, like
Yeah.
for the pages inside, it would take away the
Mm.
work inside as such.
Yeah, I think the color scheme's really effective for being a very neutral kind of tone. So if any of us have very bright work, that's the focus.
No, I think it's all gone really well.
Mm. Yeah, I really like the just your type. I think it's quite clever. From the other shows we saw, I don't think they had a type of theme like a catchphrase. I couldn't like tell. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, we've tried to really like push that throughout, obviously including Ben's lettering that he proposed when deciding the logos, keeping that with just your type. It's a good play on the words, and I think it really entices clients. It should entice clients.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Was everyone hoping for at the end of your show?
A job.
Honestly, I just really hope I graduate and get a job. That's my main, especially with what's going on nowadays. I feel like if I get offered a job
Yeah.
with anything relating to design, that's a success.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so hard because if like this time last year when I was looking at graduate jobs that might be available, there was loads and there's hardly any now. Yeah, so it's like weird to like we don't know what position it will be in.
It's very
come May,
uncertain for
June.
us. Yeah, it's very like an uncertain time. We kind of got a bit screwed over just by the pandemic in general.
Yeah, basically.
But thankfully, with like I mean, I said it already, but thankfully, the course has sort of presented us with a series of different projects that have got like, I don't know how to put it, but like each project has seemed relatively different,
specialities.
exactly. And yeah, I feel like we've at least got a decent amount of experience now in
Yeah.
a large series of different sectors. So I feel
I
like
guess.
even if not every like skill is taken into account by an employer, at least we've got like one or two things maybe that looks really appealing.
Yeah.
It's-
We've also benefited because this is almost what we'd be experiencing if we'd be working freelance.
exactly.
So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
like get the knowledge of trying to do everything remotely
Mm.
and communicate with people remotely.
Yeah, like we're our own boss when it comes to time and organization. That's like a key
Yeah.
line of objective for a lot of these projects. So I think that's a benefit of this whole situation is we're very good at organizing our own time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's been good, like trying to go out and actually communicate to each other, because obviously we've had to throughout the year for the end of year show.
Mm.
So it's been nice to like have a reason to talk to everyone and communicate and like do it like a team project
Yeah.
during these circumstances. So it's a good experience now in case it happens in the future.
I feel
Yeah.
like especially this final year, I've got to know everybody here a lot better because since we've been forced to talk online, we've all got along a lot better. We got to like know each other more, and I'm really grateful for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Done.
Perfect.
Oh,
Wow.
we
That's
sounded
so much
not
better than I thought.
professional.
Yeah, not gonna
Nice.
lie, that made me feel a bit better about myself.
Oh, I hope
felt
to God that
hopeless.
recorded.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it didn't record.
Oh,
Oh.
well,